Okay, aquí estamos de nuevo. Tell you what happened. I got a call from James Murphy, who is now head of production at GBC, and said, Richard, we'd like you to go down to town and do something what, James? Something about age. Something about age what? I don't know. Anyway, it's to do with age, so I'll find out later what it is exactly that they want. But speaking of age, reminds me of the elixir of life, which is a potion which, taken by the drinker, grants a longer life, youth like forever, immortality. Amazing, isn't it? I never took that and didn't want to, but I thought that if I carry on having my nice glasses of red wine, that might work, but it doesn't. It doesn't, because age is age is age. It doesn't stand still. A day passes, a week, a month, a week, a year, and you get older. It's as simple as that. And of course, you see all these young people hanging around, full of vibrancy. They're happy, they're chatting, they're looking good. And I don't suppose they ever think about getting old, which prompted me to think about one situation that happened when I was in London working with the music, as I was, in the 60s, the swinging 60s in London, the fabulous 60s. And I was walking behind a lady, an old lady, now called senior citizens. And she was carrying a heavy comestible bag of food and a walking stick, and bent over. And I looked at her, 18, 19, 21, 22, something like that I was. I would never get to that age. As if it was a different species. I thought that I'd never get to that age. I'm young, beautiful, never get to that age. So I thought maybe in 150 or 200 years' time I will, but not. And of course, little did I think, although I thought about it later, that that lady bent over with the walking stick and the shopping bag, trotting along, was young once like me, 18, 19, 20, 31, looking beautiful. So age doesn't stop. It's as simple as that. So the idea generally now is to go and speak to those timers, those old timers, and see what they've got to say about the good old days. This is what it's all about. Alistair, Mark, let's go. Okay, aren't I lucky? I joined one of my contemporaries, because I think he's my age, Mahomeno. Robert, hello, Robert.
Robert, hello.
And Christian, que sabía.
Hello, Terry.
Hey. How old are you, Christian?
I'm 58.
58. I'm 49 and a few months.
Okay.
Okay, how old are you?
Your age?
No, really no.
Last May I was 81.
I makes it too, porque...
Un poquito más. Bueno, ¿qué te acuerdas tú? Aparte del Montague, what else do you remember about those days in the 60s?
I remember
The good old days.
the good old days. It was when I was young. We used to go to Rose there. Lo que le llaman el acuario.
El quarry.
So we had the little bay, Rose Lake Bay, and
Which means for swimming on the evening with the girls.
no, that comes later.
For swimming. Yeah.
No, we used to go there, and spend more or less our team years. It was during summer. It was there fishing, swimming, meeting girls, etc., etc.
But you remember like I do, because now at 7 o'clock, there's not a soul in Main
No,
Street.
not a soul.
Pero tú te acuerdas cuando antes, between 7 and 9, we'd walk up and down
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
from K Street to the cathedral and back?
That's something I was saying yesterday. We go back to those days when we used to get the army. Don't forget that the army was here.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And the Navy.
Yeah.
The Navy used to come very frequently.
Oh yes.
We had the Trocadero, we had the other bar where a lot of Spanish girls used to dance. And
Do you remember like I do, that when 3 or 4 of them were a bit inebriated, or in my case, I would have to go off the pavement, them coming towards me in case they got funny and thumped me.
Because I remember in those songs about must have been 16 or 17,
Yeah.
when you saw 5 or 6 Navy individuals approaching you, you thought they were looking for a fight.
But Christian, why are you sitting there? You're too young to remember the good old days. Or do you? Do you?
Take that as a compliment. But yes, in my case, good old days would have been the 70s, the 80s. I mean, this place where we're at now, Copacabana, or as it's commonly known here in Gibraltar,
Copa.
as in ER.
Copa.
Ercopa. So, yeah, but perhaps one of the fondest, oldest memories that I have, well, a few among them are the time when we were allowed to drive up along Main Street and park just out here and come in here for a coffee. La Catedral, los banquitos de la Catedral. And what stuck with me was my father driving us round Gibraltar when the border was closed and driving all the way up to the border and sitting there and trying to communicate with friends on the other side of the border.
Yelling your head off.
Yes, absolutely. It was the only way. I like to explain to people who aren't from Gibraltar, when I try and describe the situation, I explained how to send the letter to La Linea, our neighbor town, the letter had to go to the UK, and then from the UK to Madrid, and then down to La Linea. It would take months.
Or if you wanted to go to Spain, you'd have to go over to Tangier.
Correct. The phone call itself had to go via the UK.
Amazing.
So it would cost a fortune. So the alternative to that was wrapping the letter, or rather, wrapping a rock with the letter and throwing it over the border.
Bueno, mira, el,
The other side.
el Sauribe te iba a Rouge Bay y toda esta cosa. Pero yo iba al Montague. ¿Tú ibas al Montague?
Eastern Beach.
¿Y
I
tú ibas al
grew-
Montague? No.
I grew up in Eastern Beach.
Eastern Beach,
Yes.
I used to go to, I remember I used to go to Montague when I joined the Cisco.
The what?
Cisco.
Oh, yeah.
And we used to get a boat, a little rowboat,
Yeah.
and go to the Montague and see all the lovely girls up there.
Dale, ¿cuándo cerraron la frontera?
Van a hablar de eso también.
Habla, si pasa it.
So
See,
I was here for part of that, but I'd been in the UK, but I came back. For those younger people that don't know anything about it, what can you say about that? To compare with what's happening now with the treaty and the free flow of people and goods.
well, I was born a year before the border closed, so I can't remember when it actually closed. I can remember the following years. I remember perfectly the first time we were allowed across the border into Spain. I remember the first time our parents
82, right
allowed
about
me.
82, no?
Yeah, exactly. I remember the first time our parents allowed me to go across the border into Spain with my friends for the first time. So it was a whole new world.
Sí.
So yeah, young people today wouldn't appreciate what we've got now. So that's why everyone's apprehensive about the deal. I think it's necessary. The alternative would be a disaster.
¿Y tú qué hacías en los 13 años eso de la frontera cerrada? Darte vuelta,
Go around like they used to call Gibraltar exactly, that's right. Just go around Gibraltar, different places. That I remember that in those days we had more entertainment in Gibraltar where nightlife was concerned.
Yes, absolutely.
We had a lot of discotheques. We had one in the Queen's, like we had it everywhere, and we used to
Good.
even the Queen's Hotel. I remember I don't know where you played there once in the Queen's Hotel. They had every Friday. They had like
Played everywhere, yeah.
I remember
Bueno, mira,
that. Yes, of
ya
course.
estoy harto de hablar con ustedes.
Right.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye, boys.
Bye bye.
Mira qué bien, who we met. Tú estás con esta aquí, Priscilla. Priscilla, hello.
Hello, Richard.
Tú te tienes que acordar de the good old days.
Claro.
Sí. Tú tenías toilet en tu casa.
Sí.
Nosotros, we'd share one with a neighbor
Escúchame.
in the yard.
Escúchame que talk about the good old days cuando yo era chica, when I was a child.
Sí.
we lived in los barracones de los glacis.
Ah, mira.
En los barracones. And we were so proud and so privileged because every barracón, every family had a toilet. Whereas a lot of people that lived in town actually didn't, and they shared loos with others.
That's a good point about the Nissen huts, los barracones.
Nissen
And I
barracones.
wonder if our two young cameramen remember los barracones. Do you know anything about
They won't
Nissen huts?
remember.
No, they may have heard about them. Y la calor it was tin, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Calor hacía bastante.
Was difficult.
Yeah.
Pero claro, tenía air conditioning.
Pero, like,
No, tenía air conditioning.
sí, el abanico,
El air conditioning.
El periódico, ¿no?
el periódico, ¿verdad?
And what are the closed frontier days? Were those the good old days? For some people, they were.
I grew up in a closed frontier situation. I was 8 when the frontier closed, and I was 22 when it opened for pedestrians. I was
Around about
actually,
82, no?
I was actually December 82. I was actually on duty that night at the frontier.
Porque tú eras policeman.
Yo era policeman, sí. Yo fui policeman 38 años.
Policía,
Sí.
él era policía.
Después también estuve de guardia la noche en el 85 cuando vio para el tráfico. Hombre, se perdió la identidad que teníamos cuando you'd walk down Main Street and you'd know everybody that you'd bump into. That has been a slow eroding phase of an open frontier. And I think that as from the 15th of July, that's going to happen even more. And for people like us, un poquito de nostalgia que it's the beginning of the end of Gibraltar as we knew it.
So if you have to compare and choose, which are the good old days?
No, yo me
The
quedo,
now
yo me
days?
quedo con hoy. Yo
Con
me quedo
hoy, ¿no?
con hoy, sí.
¿Eh?
Yeah.
¿Y tú a qué playa ibas? ¿O no ibas a la
Yo
playa?
íbamos al Mar de Levante.
¿Al Mar de Levante? ¿Al Montague, no?
También,
Bien.
sí, de jovencita, el Montague también was a place I really enjoyed. And I learned to swim in el Montague.
No me digas. ¿Y did you walk up and down Main Street? Because we used to between
Oh,
7 and
yes.
9.
Oh, yes, for
At 7
sure.
o'clock, the place is dead. Mirando al niño. I remember looking at the girl. Uy, ya viene otra vez. Porque
Yes.
había que dar la vuelta ahí en
Claro.
Cathedral, go back down again. Ay, ya se ha ido para su casa. Yo no la he visto.
Oh, yes.
The
My
good
goodness.
old days,
Digo,
chiquilla.
hacía tiempo que no me acordaba yo de eso.
No, pues ya te acuerdas.
No,
¿Por qué? Porque
cosa,
había
porque
3 o
tenía
4
long
niños que
time.
te gustaban. O uno nada más.
No.
Bueno.
Es que la niña era mucha niña.
Well, thank you for talking to me.
Nice talking
It's
with
been
you.
great.
Nice seeing you again.
Again.
Okay?
Yes.
El policía.
Hasta pronto, mi arma.
John,
Yes, sir.
nice seeing you.
Yes.
Pero
Same here.
no me saque la Biblia at this moment in time.
Bueno, es muy difícil porque
I'm
todo está
I'm
relacionado.
stopping you to talk to you about the good old days. Are you old enough to reminisce about the good old days?
I am sort of. I am 75, so
mira,
I
sí.
think maybe I might qualify.
So what do you remember of Gibraltar and the good old days in Gibraltar?
Obviously, I don't remember so many tower blocks, that's for sure. I don't think there were hardly any tower
See,
blocks.
somebody was talking to me about the Nissen huts.
También.
So where did you live in those days?
Well, actually, just round the corner here.
Yeah,
in Main Street, yes.
And what do you remember of Main Street in those days?
Well, I remember the whistling and the sounds of the bicycles coming early in the morning at 6
Workers.
or 7. The workers coming in.
I mean
And then you looked out of the window and you saw all these bicycles.
Really?
Yeah, people coming into work. Thousands of them. Yeah, that was such a... it's
That's
yeah, that's
an innovation. I never heard that one.
Yes,
But
it's
of
true.
course, you lived
You
in Main
used to-
Street, and
yeah.
you would hear it. Well, here we are. We are here in the Gibraltar Regiment. What's it called? The Association Club. And most of the guys here have been in the Gibraltar Regiment. ¿Cómo se llevaban ustedes con the English regiments and the units?
It was all, like most things, it was all very competitive. We competed in sports with them all along. And I remember as a schoolboy, watching in the old naval ground the matches between the service teams, be resident battalion, Royal Navy, whoever, against local teams and GFA.
And were there many fights in those days?
Not that I recall. I remember hearing stories about the post-war days when I was a kid, and
all the
of lorries, of policemen, and that's when the big Navy was that big. We're talking about the 50s.
Mediterranean fleet and home fleet sometimes playing together.
But I personally didn't experience that.
No.
I've heard all the stories,
Yeah.
the typical story that Irish Town was for the Royal Navy, Main Street was for the Army.
Oh, didn't know that.
They stayed, the Army stayed in the pubs in Main Street, the Navy stayed in the Irish Town area, and whenever they crossed,
oh my dear,
then the fireworks, yes.
So what do you remember locally about 60s and 70s?
So I remember before the closed frontier and after the closed frontier. Before the closed frontier, it was to a certain degree, not similar, but it was cosmopolitan because we did have Spaniards walking in. We had lots of French people coming around in cars to cross back to Tangiers and backwards.
¿Y tú de qué te acuerdas de las niñas y eso?
Las niñas
In the Main Street.
eran guapas, ¿no?
Eran todas muy guapas.
¿Y a dónde íbamos a bailar y eso? ¿Dónde?
CSA,
CSCA,
la verbena en
Patio
Humphreys,
Policía.
en La Laguna.
los Diamond Boys, el Patio Policía, el CSCA. Cuéntame, ¿tú de qué te acuerdas in particular?
The 70s,
Sí, right.
when the border was closed, for me, the best decade.
Really?
Yes.
Entonces you're not too much in favor de lo que va a pasar ahora.
I'm not very long.
No?
Not very happy.
You're not very happy. No. Why are so many people not very happy? Hay que esperar, ¿no? Hay que ver lo que pasa.
Bueno, pero no, I'm very happy.
You're not very happy. So, the border was closed for 13 years.
The best year for me.
Really? Many people say that. Why do you think?
Get together.
Well, nice talking to you guys.
Bueno, it's been a pleasure having you here.
It's been a pleasure, ¿verdad?
Sí,
Qué va.
ahora te manda. When you go be.
Oh, qué pesado, Cata. ¿Cuándo te vas a retirar ya? Speaking about the good old days, we mustn't forget the Moroccan community in Gibraltar who came over in the good old days when dear Franco decided to close the gates and take away all the Spanish workers, and the Moroccans kindly came from their country to take their place and do all the work. Pero tú eres llanito, ¿no?
Yo soy.
¿Y de qué te acuerdas tú de los good old days?
Me acuerdo
Los tiempos
los mejores días de mi vida.
Why does everybody say that? Oh, the nostalgia.
Se vivía muy bien, muy tranquilo y teníamos de todo. Gracias a Dios a estos hombres, a los marroquíes, que cuando cerraron la frontera vinieron 5.000 de ellos a Libertad a trabajar, carniceros, panaderos, de todo.
And to the construction.
Sí,
La construcción también, ¿no?
sí. Y se vivía muy bien con ellos y todo. Teníamos bien, a nosotros no nos faltaba de nada y vivíamos tranquilamente. Libertad era como una familia, todos nos conocíamos uno a otro.
Pero no lo encontraba tú un poquito claustrophobic. No puedan salir.
Nos acostumbramos a eso, porque salíamos una vez al año, íbamos a Marruecos, íbamos a España,
O Inglaterra, el avión.
a Inglaterra, íbamos a ver nuestra familia a España. Por ejemplo, mi madre era española, yo iba una vez al año a ver mis abuelos y mi familia a España. Teníamos que dar la vuelta por...
Sí, ya. Tánger, ¿no? Y de libertad en la calle y eso, ¿qué te acuerdas?
Libertad ha cambiado mucho. Antes los niños, como yo, que era un niño,
¿Jugaba en la calle?
jugábamos a la calle jugábamos
No tenía un móvil en el 66.
nada. La vida era diferente.
No hay móvil.
Ni teléfono, ni nada. No estábamos como hoy
La calle, jugando a la
en
calle.
la calle a todos lados. Y había un television.
Negro y blanco.
Con televisión española y GBC, ¿no?
Sí, la más.
Yo iba a casa de mi amigo, porque yo todavía no tenía televisión, iba a casa de mi amigo a ver fútbol, GBC y todo eso.
Pero ahí ha dado tú un ejemplo. Eso no puede ser mejor que ahora que tienes tu televisión con 40.000 canales.
Sí, pero hoy estamos un poquito
Diferente.
diferente.
Y amigo, ¿tú qué piensas? ¿Cuándo viniste a Gibraltar?
Yo vine en 69.
¡Wow! 69.
Y vine
Cuando
con-
cerró la frontera, claro.
Era la frontera.
Sí, sí.
Y vine aquí con contrato.
Yes.
Pues yo trabajando 2 días, está un buen tiempo ahí.
Entonces todo bien.
Todo bien.
Everybody happy.
Bien, gracias a Dios.
Sí, sí. ¿Tú cómo te encuentras con todos los marroquíes?
Empecé a trabajar con ellos en Saconi Speeds
All right.
y después trabajé en el hospital de la cocina.
Sí, ya.
Y toda mi vida he trabajado con ellos.
Conoce un montón de ellos.
Sí, yo conozco. Tengo muchos amigos.
Igual que familia.
Igual como familia, sí.
Como familia, ¿no?
Sí.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, muchas gracias. Here we are then, coming back to our cameraman, Alistair and Mark, to return the microphone. And we've spoken to quite a few people, a bit of a variety. And I think the general consensus was not too happy with what's about to happen, if it hasn't already happened. That's the opening, full opening on the 15th. And so many of them think about those days of old as the best days in their lives, even with the frontier closed. It's amazing. Such is life.